Hello, world from Reston, Virginia. Bobby D with the number nine. Gosh darn it. Can't believe I said that either. Bobby D with another 9 at 9 live stream. I actually can't believe I said gosh darn it. Can we please remove that from the record? That is not. I'm trying to be better here with the words that I choose, but that was a terrible selection. Bobby D with another 9 at 9 live stream from Reston, Virginia, where we cover a new topic every day. And then we talk about the project and what our plans are for today, what we're looking to accomplish. We're in the middle of a sprint and we have some goals for that sprint, so maybe I'll touch on some of them as well. Today's topic, the launch mentality, which I touched on yesterday because I was talking about complacency and how complacency is a killer. Complacency is a virus. And the only way to get out of that, one of my best strategies for getting out of that, is to incorporate this launch mentality, which I've done so over the last few years quite successfully. And I remember I came up with this because I was at the Air and Space Museum in DC here, and I was looking at like what they accomplished back when they needed to accomplish something, like when they needed to build a new jet, right, during like World War II or something. Remarkably, they were able to engineer it, design it, build it, get it into production, I think in like 4 or 5 months. Unbelievable. When you need to accomplish something and you put all hands on deck, it's an amazing result that you can get. And Elon Musk is famous for setting deadlines that are crazy and pushing his team to hit certain goals. And at times, they might question what the point is, right? Well, the point is, without those launch dates, without that goal focus to focus on, you can get complacent. You can get comfortable. Jeff Bezos has it's always day one as the mentality, where if you don't think it's day one, you're going to start degrading and being a state company. And that mentality, it's always day one. Different than a launch mentality, but they're all working around the same thing. When you say it's day one, like when I started this YouTube challenge, when I said it was day one, it was an exciting day, right? I filmed that in my car, but it was still a big day for me. Day two, I was emotional because day one was so really important to me. But then you have to have that day one mentality where you just keep pushing and know that, okay, what are we doing today? And that's the sprint mentality. I have a handful of them, but this launch mentality, if you put a date on the calendar where you have to accomplish something, if you have to write a book by this date, the publisher expects it by this date or no deal. Like you're going to write that book. When I had to pay that bill to allow my son to go on that trip, I had to pay that bill. There was no option. I couldn't be late. He wasn't going on the trip. I couldn't be that dad that made that commitment. And then he didn't do it. If you put a marathon on the calendar and you're going to commit to that. Any kind of race, any kind of challenge, you put it on the calendar, it's on a date, you have to do it. When we took that boat across the ocean, there was no option but to be ready by that date. Hurricane season and everything else got in the way of any extension. And then you're off and running. And so everything in life, if you put a date and stick to it and focus on it and treat yourself as if it's the most important thing. And I want to explain that. So often in my life, I prioritized my boss's goals or other people's goals that I can support, which is a healthy thing to do. You want to build and get your credibility built by supporting others. But when it was my goals, I always neglected them. It was my deadline. So therefore, if I move it, who cares? Like that public deadline or a shared deadline with a friend or a family member, definitely more powerful because you have that responsibility to not let the other person down. But when it's just you have to practice treating yourself more importantly than anyone else. So when you set a date for yourself and you're going to do something by that date, you have to really get that energy towards that. If you don't set a date, I'm 100% certain you won't make as much progress. So when we did this 99-day challenge, when I set this up, it was because my birthday my 54th birthday is on that day. So I had 99 days between November 24th to that day. Well, I intend to launch something significant on that day. I mean, I might actually launch it before that because the pace is actually better than I expected. But no question about it, that date is the definitely like deadline where I'm going. And so when you have that launch mentality, when you're building up to that date, you have to get certain things done. This trip we're going on, January 25th, I'm heading out to sea. I need to be able to go live on my mobile. I am not going to count on being able to go live on my laptop. Now, I might have upload speed challenges out there that we'll deal with, but I have this mentality. I have to have 50 subscribers, and it's been a slow growth. I've been really doing this methodically. I am in no crazy rush to get views and numbers and stuff like that. I want to make sure I'm making those little improvements every day. We've talked a ton about that already. If I'm not making those little improvements, I'm never going to be great. I can't be great tomorrow. And I have to accept the fact that that video I posted last night is not performing that well. It was a shift towards this tech consulting thought process that I really want to talk about, but it's different than the other stuff I put out, and the algorithm's trying to figure it out. I'm confident that if I consistently put out material around tech consulting, that it'll start to show up, right? I'm also confident that there's demand for people who want to change careers and get involved in this space. I really love this topic, and I want people to also learn about it. So I want to commit to it. But it does kind of suck that that video has, and the editing and all those things, but it's a little better. I did a little more editing and I did a little better. So I'm making those little steps that I feel good about. And I know I have a date that I have to hit. So the energy is really all for it. Like even getting here at 9 a.m. every day, I'm struggling, as you can tell. Anyone who's consistently paying attention is that, I'm struggling, but I'm feeling the pressure. But it's only my pressure. There's really not yet. There's no one yet waiting. But I'm putting pressure on myself because I made the commitment and I want to. So in the morning, I'm like frantic trying to get a few things done so that I can get here on time and have this going. That's really positive. And so I feel good about that because I have a date. Set a date for something and pay attention to how much more progress you can make. And I promise you'll see that result. That complacency that we talked about yesterday, complacency, the enemy of complacency is a launch mentality. I really love launch mentality. And so last night when I was contemplating my philosophy on this channel, this program, whatever platform, like I don't necessarily enjoy creating those scripted videos that properly attract an audience. It's not my style, but I know it's important. And I say that even when I'm shooting the videos. I hate it. I hate the process because I don't feel comfortable. I feel comfortable now. I don't feel comfortable doing that. And I don't think it comes across very authentic. But I know I have to put that material together with good editing so that I can get the information to people, a proper user, a viewer, and give them what they need, right? They need to learn about this, those that are looking to learn about it. So I know I have to do that, but I'm not as comfortable. And I know if I'm comfortable in front of the camera that I'll get even better information together. So I'm coming up with a new idea that I'm going to play with today. Going to keep going on those other videos, no question about it. But fine tuning something else. So I'm pretty happy. That's my goal for today. And I don't want to even say it because until I nail it down, I don't want to get ahead of myself. So that's the plan for today. We did not make as much progress getting the infrastructure set up around this tiny ass studio. We're going to work on that today. I have some personal things I need to focus on. And of course I have the day job. So it's going to be a busy one, but I'm making good progress and I feel good about it. I'm not going to have a poor attitude about yesterday's video. It may have done better overnight. Honestly, I haven't even looked at the analytics, but it came out of the gate pretty poor. But I have to focus on what my improvements were and not on the results. I cannot worry about the results. I've been told by so many people that the early days of this are going to be really, really slow going, and you have to be prepared for it. But it's kind of, you want to see it. You want to see something. But I'm going to continue pushing. All right, checking in tomorrow. I think I hit 9 minutes. Honestly, the clock started early, so I had to do some quick math. But either way, we'll talk tomorrow for another 9 at 9. Thanks for checking in.